Welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep. I actually like to dive deep on all my channels. I specialize in shadow healing. So I do look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play in as karmic themes along with everything else. So the readings are a little bit longer because we're going deeper into the reading. Because a lot of times it's not about whether your person has feelings for you. It's about why your person is doing what they're doing, and because they do have feelings for you, and you know that they have feelings for you. You want to know why they're doing what they're doing, not to try and change them, but so that you don't inherit any negative karmic retribution. A lot of times, being with someone that is wounded, they wind up wounding us. Hurt people all the time. So when you understand why a person does what they do, then you're able to incorporate new behaviorisms and new habits, which is the other reason why you want to do these type readings. You want to do these readings to see not just why your person is acting the way that they are, but why you're attracting what you're attracting. Because if you're attracting people that are keeping you stuck in a place of feeling not good enough, but because they're not giving you enough time or not giving you any caring, you want to know why you're attracting that, and you want to be able to integrate the spiritual lesson and transmute the negative energy, because there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs, and your core beliefs are really created from the environments that you live and again, the people that you're around. So being able to incorporate new behaviorisms and new habits actually help you shape shift your situation, so you can quantum jump into an experience that you want to experience, like being connected to someone that knows how to express the way that they feel, someone that is emotionally intelligent, someone that is ready to give you give and take reciprocity, not someone that keeps you stuck again in a place of limitation. So again, the readings are not so much to say how to get what you want. If you want this person, we can't manipulate a person. That's not what these readings are about. However, you wind up changing the dynamic of the relationship when you change. So if the relationship is built on unconditional love, where the person really does have feelings for you, but they're just not emotionally intelligent, they will take the time to do the self-reflection work. Understand, usually not by volunteering, usually by becoming so uncomfortable because you've changed the dynamic of the connection by doing something different, which has inevitably made them look at their behavior. And that is what makes people change, when people want to change, not when we tell them to change, because most habits are exactly that. They're habits. They're unconditional habits on how a person is used to dealing with other people. The problem is like, we'll get triggered because we'll see it as that person is treating us badly, when really they treat themselves badly a lot of times. And that again allows you to see the bigger scope of what's going on in your situation, and that again takes you out of that paradoxical energy, which is, I want this person, but I don't want this person. I like this person, but I don't like this person. I'm connected to a person that I don't want to be connected to. It feels like, again, that the heart and the mind are fighting. And the reason why is because you haven't learned the spiritual lesson. So again, if you're someone that feels really like, again, imbalanced from being connected to a person, then you definitely want to do shadow reading, because it's more about you than it is the person. Really, you're only having a relationship with yourself. Everything else is a connection to the universe, to God. And every person that you encounter is showing you something about yourself. All right, now if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out is the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. Okay, the first card out is knowledge, is wisdom. So this telling me that you are connected to someone that you know at this point is a soulmate, and this person actually knows too. And the reason why is because I feel like you both tried to walk away from this connection a lot of times and you couldn't. And the reason why is because there's a divine hand in the connection. You were meant to meet this person. This person was meant to meet you. You did meet at the right time. However, not the perception that you would actually think, like, I met this person so that we could be in a relationship. That was my perception. That was your perception, which is what I feel that you feel, Gemini. No, this person came into your life to teach you, and you came in to teach this person. However, there is really a strong spiritual connection of unconditional love. We wouldn't stick around long enough to learn the spiritual lesson. Again, the lesson of wisdom. And as you can see, like the sacred geometry in the back, I really should take off this sticker, but I'm afraid I'll rip the card. So again, and I like this card. I think it's an important card because it represents the highest states of consciousness, which are all derived from unconditional love, which, by the way, is the energy of the universe, which is the same energy as God, which is the same energy that's inside of you. So when you're whole and balanced, you are in this perfect state of unconditional love. When we have spiritual blocks, it's parts of ourselves or our perceptions of the situation that are really imbalanced because we have become imbalanced from a situation that we've gone through. So I believe, again, our soulmates tend to be mirrors of who and what come into our life. So again, there's a paradoxical energy, which is, I love this person, but I don't love this person, because again, I believe that both you and this person thought we were supposed to be together, but it didn't work out. And I don't know if I could forgive you. There's an underlining energy, and this person knows I don't think that you're going to forgive me. So I don't understand what the whole point of the connection was, which kind of keeps you both stuck in a place of just not feeling stuck, not feeling happy, and like, again, not understanding, because it's like, it's not that there wasn't love. It's just that that part of the relationship wasn't supposed to happen yet. If anything, you feel like you were abandoned. By the way, you're going to write the word knowledge and wisdom in your, again, comment bar if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me. By the way, you also have to be open to getting a shadow reading. You got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all right? Those are the things that you need to do. They're good karma anyway, so you should do it anyway. So understand, here we have, again, the soul's connection, but both parties feel abandoned and rejected, really, which is really the spiritual lesson that needs to be learned. So the underlying energy is actually like almost like a two-parter, and that's I love you, but I also don't love you. Like, I'm angry, I'm hurt. And it's because, again, you made me feel rejected. You made me feel abandoned, which again are these core wounds that you and this person have. So I believe when you were dealing with this person, now like goes to like, this person has the same wounds that you do. Doesn't mean that they're mirrored out the same way. Just so that you understand, spiritual blocks are, and I could have a spiritual block of, again, money issues, and so could you. And my issue looks, the way that my habit from that might be that I overspend, where you might be like, you don't spend $1. It's still an imbalance, whether it's like you blow all your money frivolously, because again, there's a belief of, well, I'm never really going to have it anyway, so I might as well make myself happy now, or I need to save and I can't live for tomorrow. See, money's an energy. It's got to be fluid. It's got to go with the flow. So whether we, again, have a root chakra imbalance, again, where it's mirrored out as not enough or a lack, or again, too much, we see that. So I'm kind of feeling like you might be someone that lives very safe, and this person doesn't live very safe at all. So again, that's really what happens when we have an abandonment wound. It's a root chakra imbalance. And it's a root chakra imbalance because we're all incarnated with that wound. We feel that again when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, per se, like we were born here on planet Earth with no real directions. So, and we're all just trying to figure it out. And many of us came from families that didn't give us support. So it's not anyone's real, you know, that they did anything wrong. It's that because spirit only looks at intention, but it means that you both were born into environments that had family karma, ancestral karma. And so when we have abandonment issues, it's mainly because we abandon ourselves. We usually try to give love to other people, and in that get it in return. We expect people that love us to give to us, to be there for us during difficult times. We expect them a lot of times to do a lot more than they really should do, spirit says. That because again, we all tend to be codependent in that area. And I feel like that's the wound that both you and this person incarnated with, because abandonment really is that. It's not just a first chakra imbalance, it's a first and second chakra imbalance. And that second chakra is, again, all represents your individuality, who you perceive you are. It's the passion center, it's the individuality center, it's your creative center, because you create your life, and you create your life through again where your passions are, and that's also represents the passion center. So again, when we see imbalances within that area, we're going to see addiction problems, we're going to see self-esteem problems, we're going to see people that have a hard time going with the flow, people that want to control, people that are really coming from a fear-based consciousness. Because again, whenever we try and rely on something outside of ourselves for our survival, well, it creates a lot of anxiety because we don't have control over anything, only ourselves. And that's the illusion. The illusion is that we need to control what's outside of ourselves. And I believe that already, without even pulling a card, I can tell like your person tried to control the connection, especially feeling this profound spiritual connection of unconditional love. When a person doesn't know how to love themselves, well, they're not going to really know how to like interpret that feeling and that emotion, where they're going to be able to reciprocate in a positive, equal give and take reciprocity type of way. And it's because again, they're insecure. So if we always feel that there's something wrong with us, and I feel like this both comes, you and your person both have this type of energy, believe it or not. There's a sense of, I feel insecure, you make me feel insecure. Well, this person says, well, you make me feel insecure. And so, but spirit says, well, really, both of you both feel insecure and felt insecure before you met each other. This person is just drawing that out of you. And again, there's mirroring energy, which is, again, it's alarming. It's like, I don't want to be around someone that makes me feel insecure. This person's supposed to love me. And again, there's supposed to be unconditional love here, but all you do is that you're not really there for me. But understand, if we're up in our head worrying, then we're not present. We're not really contributing to the relationship. We're sitting back expecting the other person to do something. And that's what I feel like your person did. They sat there, sitting there, expecting you to do something. And it's because they were insecure. They were going to read off whatever you did. But the problem is, it's like they did, again, that's not really, they're just unaware. They're unaware of really what it looks like to be in a healthy relationship. And it's like they're unaware of what they do. They don't listen to their intuition. They're more in their survival mind again. And that comes from growing up in an environment where you kind of felt inadequate to begin with. But if you grew up up in family karma where there were problems, well, you would never be able to feel yourself, meaning to really even create yourself. Your mind's always on the problems and fixing the problems. And it's not a blame game. We have to understand that life is not heaven. We're born into families that have karma, ancestral karma, collective karma that the family has inherited. And then you also inherit collective karma. What's going on when you were born? What's going on in the environment when you were alive? What was the message, especially now, people that are born into like during COVID times, they were being born into a consciousness of lack and limitation, which again brings up a lot of fear, survival. And so we form these behaviorisms when we are in the survival mode. And this is why your person is really unaware of what it's like to be in a real relationship, because like goes to like. So they were always attracting people that were kind of on their same vibration, but somebody that also was trying to control the relationship, but control it in a way of over giving the energy where your person doesn't give any energy at all. So again, we can see that that second chakra is some, either people give an abundance of too much or they don't give enough, and it's because they're not balanced. And they're not balanced because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are because they made their life about their trauma. So even though there's a lot of wisdom and there is a spiritual connection here built on unconditional love, you and this person act like constant triggers to each other because it's bringing up a lot of like childhood trauma, a lot of wounds that need to be addressed. Because again, we're all down here to be conduits for spirit, to express ourselves as unconditional love, to be able to give and receive of love. And we can't do that if we're full of resentment, anger, and lower energies, which, by the way, when we hold spiritual blocks in the first and second chakra, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of resentment because I feel inadequate. I feel like my life doesn't work. I feel like there's a disconnect from self. And understand, severe trauma creates disassociation, detachment. Detachment is, I know what happened, but it's like I'm watching somebody else go through it. So I don't have any emotion about it one way or the other. I'm kind of just traumatized, which is frozen, person stuck in freeze. That first chakra is, again, the endocrine gland is the adrenal, so survival mode. So again, the person goes back into a situation where they have feelings for you of unconditional love, but you also make them feel a lot of different ways, which makes them feel insecure. And so again, it triggers them. And what happens then is it triggers this person's nervous system to go into fight, flight, or freeze. So they freeze and they do nothing. And then you're seeing them to be like, well, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. Like you should be giving me some sort of time, some sort of energy, some sort of. So what we see here is that your person gets in their own way. They have a psychological reversal where they, again, don't really believe that they can have love. And so what happens is that they withdraw. And so again, it's like they cut their emotions off from you. So you feel like you're with somebody that isn't giving you enough, and they're not giving you enough. And if anything, it's like they tend to, I feel like they tend to like either like suppress people, like either give way too much of their energy or not anything at all. And I also believe that this person does things to like suppress their own feelings, their own emotions. Like they don't feel comfortable in feeling their feelings because again, your feelings are the gateway to spiritual healing. They make us think, right? Why do I feel that way? And make one thing makes another thing. So I think that you make this person like overthink, which again then triggers the nervous system into that fight, flight, or freeze. So they would rather not not to really give that much energy and to really be submissive, where they're not going to share their opinion. They're going to not really even own their own power, but they don't own their own power because they don't really know who they are. If we really take this down to the root. So again, what we see is a person here that's always waiting for someone else to do something. And it's because, again, they're so insecure that they overthink that that it always comes to the same solution, which is I shouldn't do anything, because the rule is if I don't know what to do, I should do nothing. And that works well in business, but it doesn't really work well in a relationship, this cold, hard logic. So, that's really what we see here. And then it's like, and of course, you felt ignored. That's a no-brainer. It's like that you weren't even valued. And it's like, no, because this person's trying to not really rely on their emotions. They're trying to, again, strategize. They're trying to logic it. They're trying to, again, trying to control the relationship. But in that, they're not transparent. They're withdrawn. And you just feel like it's like, well, this is a reoccurring pattern from you. It's almost like, yeah, it's like that you've held on to your traumas from the past, and so has this person, and that it just continues to play out as chaos in the relationship, right? Just chaos in the relationship. It just manifests as chaos because when you don't integrate the spiritual lesson, and then you just wait a certain amount of time and then someone new comes around, and then what happens is the same karmic theme plays out. It's we see what we look for. The universe will always give us what we need. So we may say, well, what do I need to be with someone that ignores me? Well, it's to look and see, again, how are the abandonment issues still playing out in your life? And what that really is you're a mirror of what comes into your life, and that spirit is saying you're both insecure. It's because you're stuck in the past, which would be like a root chakra issue. And that would happen if you didn't create a future. Meaning, if if you weren't childlike when you were a child, and you were stuck in the traumas of childhood, whatever that would be. Let's just say you grew up in an alcoholic family. Maybe it was every man for themselves, because, hey, imbalanced. Everyone grows up when they're imbalanced, and they try to create balance in their life. It's just to survive. When we're in that mode, we can't have an open heart. We're not being taught to trust each other. We're being taught to not trust each other. And so what happens is again, we form these behaviorisms that help us survive, but really shut us off from love. And that's what's happened here. But the problem is that there's still a spiritual connection. So, which is frustrating, because it's like, both parties are like, I really don't want to deal with this anymore. I just want to move forward. And it's like, I don't understand why. And it's because the universe is saying, no, there's something that you both need to learn, because, the chaos in the relationships are going to continue to play out, which makes you believe that you're not entitled to love, which again is the karmic theme that you grew up with, which it was abandonment. So we can see how all of it's again, playing out over and over and over again. It's the same karmic theme that keeps us stuck in a place of disempowerment. But that doesn't mean that this is how this person feels. That's the whole fuckery of it all. It's like psychological reversals are that the person doesn't believe that they're entitled to have something. They don't believe that they're deserving of having love. So they get in their own way and they sabotage the connection. That's not what the higher self wants. That's not what the real self wants. The real self is the God part of self that comes from intuition. It's not the ego. It's from the heart. It's from the gut. It's something that we feel. And so again, this person doesn't feel safe enough to be in that energy around you, and vice versa. But does that mean that that's really the way that they feel? Well, we're going to see. Again, there's a fine line between love and hate. Just know that. which which is why there's always a lot of confusion in this type of relationship. Obstacles. It's like you just feel like there's always like a problem. And that is what really I feel like is what it is, that when a person has psychological reversals, they're always getting in their own way and they're always creating unnecessary obstacles. And that's a way of procrastination. And procrastination comes from insecurity. So we can see how it triggers you. You are the first person to make me feel this way. Yeah, this person again is angry, like kind of like has a lot of different feelings, because they were like, I've never felt this way before. I usually can control my feelings and can control the relationship, but this is a divine relationship. Again, that so it's like they don't know why. They just know that it's exhausting. And it's an exhausting because they're fighting it. You're fighting it. You both aren't surrendering. And really, that's what this type of connection is. It's like there's a fine line between love and hate. And the reason why is because unless we integrate the spiritual wounds and really like change, then we will wind up hating that person, because it's like stubbing your toe on the same place on the table, that every time you walk by that table, you stub your toe. Eventually, you're going to smash that table into 1,000 pieces and not give a fuck. You're going to be like, I don't care. I ran it over 1,000,000 times. Yep, I drove my car right through the house and ran it over, because you'd be so angry. And that's because, again, it needs to be cleared. It needs to be cleared. And the more that we ignore it and try and suppress it and push it down, the more that that energy builds. So again, the person's going to trigger you again with the same thing. Well, you're going to rip that person's head off. See, it's the reactions that come from having a root chakra imbalance, and those reactions come from survival. Whenever we act from a place of survival, when it's an emotional connection, we never get a good response. It winds up being very triggering. And that's again why this is a karmic relationship, because there needs to be learned is that you knew this person in a past life. They again found you in this life. There is unconditional love. There is a spiritual connection. It's again, they're your divine counterpart. This person knows that. It's like you both know that, but it's again a deep relationship. You have to be ready for it. It means that, are you ready to do the work? Because if you're still fighting it and you're still like, I'm not gonna like surrender to it, but just stay stuck in this limbo, which is I love you, but I hate you, and I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm tired. I'm resentful. I'm hurt. It's like all this pain. Well, like Spirit says, well, what are you going to do with that energy? You're an energy being. You have to transmute that negative energy. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck forever. You're going to stay stuck because it's a divine connection. Divine counterpart means you're my opposite. You're bringing out all my wounds. You're a mirror of all my wounds. But you have gifts where I don't have gifts. And those are all the parts of me that need to be integrated, that you bring up, that you show me, that's flawed within me, which make me feel insecure about myself, and vice versa. And so we see why this connection is such a paradoxical connection, and why there would be like a lot of frustration and a lot of different feelings and emotions. And because again, God's saying, well, it's like that energy has got to come out. It's like, because that energy is what's going to make you sick and take you down. You are the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning. And you're probably the last person that this person thinks about when they go to sleep at night, because there is unconditional love, which obviously that we wouldn't stick around long enough to want to learn this if we wouldn't want to stay long enough to be in a paradoxical relationship, right? So is this person ever going to do anything? repetitive cycles. And right now, it's like they are in this karmic loop with their own thoughts of being insecure, of not knowing how to handle it, of again trying to strategize. And that's the problem. As long as they stay in a place of indecision, and they stay in a place of insecurity. And so that like it would be better for them to do something rather than nothing, because staying in this limbo is really what's creating a lot of like emotion, but they're not doing anything with the emotion. Feel like they're suppressing their emotion, which is bad. And so I feel like with you, you're just like, well, I'm not going to do anything unless this person does something. I'm just not going to do it. Meaning I'm not going to reach out to them. I'm not going to like, I feel like they're too insecure. You're not, you know that you can't help this person to get secure. They have to do it themselves. So it's again, at this time, things could go either way. So it's again, that's the indecisiveness. As I said, the repetitive cycles. So they're like staying stuck right now. So the best thing that you could do is say, how can I free myself? Because in order for you to change the dynamic of this connection, you'd have to actually leave and cut your energy off completely. Because as long as you still are held on, this person's like, well, I can figure it out whenever I want because we have this soul connection. So it doesn't matter. I can take my time in figuring it out because this is too difficult for me to look at. Even though I know that I really should be the one that comes back to you and apologizes and should do that. I'm not going to do that because I really don't need to lay down my pride. Logically, it doesn't really make sense to me. So they stay in this insecure energy and stay like, again, actually the victim. Well, you abandoned me, where really they don't want to look at the fact that they withdrew from this connection a long time ago because they never gave. They're unaware of their actions. So even though that there's a, like a soul connection, the fact that so much time has gone by and they're like, well, it could go either way, like that they're juggling with the connection. And I feel like really, Gemini, that's where you're like, I don't want to be in this connection. And that would actually be the best thing because this person needs to like really grow up. They need to grow up. And that's what you know. So even though they may be a divine counterpart, it's the simple fact that they want to stay stuck in the repetitive cycle and want to pretend that they're unaware, where I feel like they know exactly, but it would require them to change. And that's difficult for them. And they want to kind of stay in what's comfortable for them. So it's something that you show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. So again, you're like the reminder. They couldn't forget about you even if they tried. That's the irony. You know, it's like because this is a divine connection. So I see like a lot of things internally happening. I just don't see anything happening for them. I'm not going to give into fear. I know fear is only an illusion. So it's again, they have a lot of fear around connections. They have a lot of fear. So they say that they're not going to give into illusion, but it's like they don't move. They don't move. It's like surrender brings us together faster than resistance. So everything is like this person knows. They know what they need to do, is what this is saying. It's like, but they still don't do it. And it's because they're still processing. This person's not on the same evolution as you. So we have to say, really, why did you attract this person into your life? That's the best thing that we can do. And what can you do to integrate the energy to actually really cut the energy? Otherwise, you're going to be stuck connected to this person. And you really don't want this person feeding off your energy. because really that's what they're doing. As long as they are like, well, you still have feelings for me, so I can figure it out. That would irritate anyone. That's a drain. And it's their insecurity is actually what ruins the connection, because they abandon themselves because they're so insecure that they didn't take the chance on you. They abandoned you. So they created their self-fulfilling prophecy of believing that they always get abandoned. So we have to again say, well, why did you attract that? Well, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So on some level, you had to abandon yourself by giving this person too much of your time, knowing, not seeing that they're comfortable staying in this place of limbo, which they're not attached, they're not present, they're not like living their life. So again, this is your inner child cards, loner. Well, obviously, if you were a loner, maybe for a long time you were detached too. I feel like, and it was easier for you to have that connection, like in the 5D, but not really like here in the present moment, right? It's like to have a strong spiritual connection, to know that someone's always there and keep it like that, but never really getting to know the person. There's this illusion that you can make that person into who you want to be in your imagination. But again, it's a facade. And it's a facade that a lot of times people that feel inadequate, people that feel insecure, people that just don't know what to do, they're not present. So what happens is that we still need love. It's not like we don't. So again, this person lives more in their fantasy. But you, again, being connected to someone like that is like, this person's a loner, you're a loner, same behaviorism of growing up with that. And so again, almost being acceptance of having a parent that loves you but doesn't verbalize it, doesn't show it. You knew psychically that they loved you. Again, you could feel it. Well, that's the same thing. It's like almost like growing up in the environment where both parties knew that their parents didn't really show them any love, but that both parties knew that their parents loved them. So they had a very strong spiritual connection to their parent. So very strong intuitive connection. And so again, I feel like you and this person both have this very strong intuitive connection. However, the perception that you're a loner, we're not down here in the physical world to be a loner. Yes, to manifest our own things, but we have to find balance where we're connected to other people. So I feel like, again, that's where the spiritual block is. You're not comfortable with other people. It's like you may love other people and you may give all your time, but you don't trust other people. You don't feel safe with other people. And you tend to be a loner when it comes to, like the things that you're into and where you'll put your time and where you'll put your energy. You have a selected few friends. Otherwise, you're completely fine being alone. That's the same thing as this person. And that happens when you grow up in a family that, again, there wasn't any support. It wasn't, you had to figure things out on your own. So relationships are not what people trust when they grow up that way. It's their own intuition. The irony is that this person does not trust their intuition when it comes to relationships. And I feel like either do you, because when it comes to love, because of the environment that you grew up, what you associate love with. And that's from the trauma that you both grew up in. So again, it was about nurturing yourself, giving the time and nurturing to yourself. Understand, if you didn't have the support and you had to figure things out on your own, what usually lacks is taking care of yourself, knowing how to take care of yourself. You can't teach another person how to treat you unless you are doing it for yourself, right? People treat you the way that you teach them to treat you. So I feel like part of that was a spiritual lesson to give it to you, to yourself, because this person wanted you to, again, come in and give all your time and energy to them. And there was a sense that you also wanted this person to come in and do it for you. And so Spirit says, no, you both need to do it for yourself. Otherwise, you get codependency. And the way that you find really nurture yourself is not just through doing like taking a bubble bath or doing your meditation or yoga or breath work or hanging out with friends or watching a movie. It's really to find the joys in life. Why? Because your passion is connected to your joy. Be like childlike. When we again are like child, we go out and we explore, we find our joys, then we give our time, and that is where spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, makes a way where there is no way just for us, connects us to our tribe. And so we find our balance. We said that you and this person both have first and second chakra in balance, which is again the abandonment from childhood. So there's abandonment of self, so not being connected to the body, which is why both of you two have very strong connection to the ethereal world, the etheric world, right? The spiritual realm. You have an ESP connection that's from the heart and mind, and it's a past life connection, but it's activated from both the fact that you and this person both grew up the same way, have the same wounds mirrored out differently again, and there's a love-hate connection here. So really, you break that karmic cycle of being stuck in a repetitive cycle, which this person is stuck in a repetitive cycle of just the same core beliefs, the same actions, nothing's happening, almost hoping that you'll do something, where Spirit says, don't you dare nurture yourself. And you nurture yourself by giving yourself the joy. That is the closest thing that you can do to like give yourself passion. When you give yourself passion, that's when you will cut your energy off to this person, because that person, it represents passion for you. You want this person to change, you want them to move, you have to change. And you were suppressed. Again, that's what this person, like, again, does. They suppress their own emotions, and in that, they suppress the connection with you. So, really, Spirit says it's about creating yourself. You were suppressed, going out and finding yourself. You grew up in survival trauma. Obviously, like, you're going to be suppressed. You're going to be suppressed because you're going to form behaviorisms and habits for survival. You're not going to be finding yourself. You're not going to be comfortable in your own skin. You're not going to be able to have confidence. You're not going to be able to go with the flow. There's a lot of imbalances that come from being suppressed, because when we're suppressed, we don't know who we are. We don't know, again, there's a sense of just approaching life through very small and timid ways, which is what we see that your person does. It's like they're not really going to put in that much effort. They're going to be safe. It's because they stay in the repetitive cycle of insecurity, and where really you weren't allowed to be vulnerable when in childhood, and still you obviously this person like doesn't allow you to be vulnerable, because would be creating a real intimate and deep connection. They don't do that. They don't do that. And so because that they don't, it's like it keeps you in a place of like, again, feeling shut off. So Spirit's saying you want to break that, because suppression of self really doesn't allow you to be vulnerable. So it's about giving yourself the joy. It's not bad to be a loner. It's bad to be a loner all the time, because what it's saying is that there's a lack of connection to other people, where then you don't feel safe, and safety isn't about creating safety in your environment and controlling somebody else, which is what your person was trying to do. It's about controlling yourself. It's about finding balance within your life. And that's really what it is. Otherwise, you guys are just stuck in this karmic like hook. Now, how karmic hook is like, I'm thinking about you and I have feelings towards you, and you're thinking about me, you have feelings for me, but we're not going to do anything about it, but we're going to be energetically linked, which is really irritating, because it's not that you're not going to go out and have friends and do other things. You are, which, by the way, that's going to trigger your person, and vice versa. So it's like you're together but you're not, and you're just staying stuck. And so in order to really break that karmic cycle, you have to give more to yourself, love yourself, nurture yourself. Again, that will open you up to more joys, more passions, connect you to your tribe, and that eventually is what severs the cord, because that's what this inevitably is. Your person's fine with just having an energetic cord to you, but they're too insecure to do anything about it. And so with that, you have to say, well, why did I? We see why, because you had all the same wounds. This was a divine connection, yes, to help you heal. And so we end off by a message with spirit to help you, because it's not easy to like sever the connection, to walk away from someone that you knew that there was unconditional love, but this person was just too insecure. So again, there's still going to be a little bit of karmic residue until we fully embody a new life, right? And connect to other people that emotionally fill us, to fill that space. So we have to say, trust. Spirit says, trust your life and your own strength. Each moment guides you to the light. Everything on your path is placed there for your growth. So again, this person was again placed on your path to help you heal, to help you grow, to really show you what needed to be healed. And it's still about, again, learning to trust yourself again, and bringing you to the light. So it's all like, listen to your intuition, let your intuition guide. The only difference too is incorporate more passion into your life, incorporate the joys into your life, and then you will be fully balanced. All right, Gemini, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.